Over the last few months, I have consistently told you all that I believe that Margex is one of the best platforms to be able to trade crypto, especially if you want to use leverage. Many of the perks that I have really talked about when talking about Margex was the fact that you don't need a VPN from anywhere, the fact that you don't need to KYC, meaning you don't need to give them any personal information at all, right? You can just deposit funds and start trading. And these are the types of things that I personally do prefer. I like it to be quick. I like it to be seamless. I like there to be no issues. And that's exactly what I've had on Margex. Now, these guys have been a partner of the channel for a very long time at this point. And so in today's video, what I wanted to do is give you just a bit of a tutorial on how exactly I use Margex, how I set it up, the little different features that I personally do enjoy, and much more. Now, this will be a three-part series. Part number one going up just the general basics and coverage, the elements and the features. Part two will be how I use Margex to trade and the different trading features. And part three will go over some of the other things like copy trading and some of the other bonuses that you can receive whenever you do trade with Margex. So of course, I hope you guys do enjoy this three-part series, and let's kick it off. So here we are on margex.com. And of course, what you can see here is that you have a very, very simple interface. Across the bottom, you have many of your different trading pairs that you can see and just kind of get a general feel for how the market is doing. On the right side, you have the order book, just kind of giving you an idea of what exactly is happening for the particular asset that you're looking at. And then you can see your, of course, last trades, which also gives you a little bit of clarity on what people are doing at that exact moment. Now, if we do move over to the left side of the screen, what you can see is the different type of margin or just the different types of assets in which you are looking at. For example, you can see here we have Bitcoin USD. If I wanted to switch to Ethereum, I'd have ETH USD. If I want to switch to Doge, I have Doge USD. Now, for actually trading this asset that we're looking at here, what you can see is that you have your trading functions here. There's three different key elements. You have limit trades, you have market trades, and you have stop market trades, all of which I will be covering and showing you exactly what they are in the next part of the series. But again, I just want to focus on showing you around the Margex platform today. Now, on top of that, if you do go upwards, what you can see here is that you can actually go in and you can check out the different types of assets in which you do hold in your account. So what you can see here, if you're going to try to maybe use your collateral as Bitcoin, USDT, Solana, or Ethereum, whatever it may be, you can actually switch in between those. So of course, you can go from Bitcoin to say USDT. You can go from USDT to Solana. You can go from Solana to Ethereum, and so on and so forth. Now, looking at the middle of the screen here, what we can see is a rather simple trading view chart. Now, this trading view chart can be used like just about any other chart, and there's actually a couple cool things that you can do and a couple things that I personally like to do whenever I am trading on Margex. The first thing that I like to do personally is I actually like to remove all of this background, these bars, okay? The grid back here, you see how we have the ups and the verticals and the horizontal and the vertical lines. I like to remove them. And so one way that you can actually do that is you can actually go into settings right here, boom, and it'll pull this up. Then what you'll do is you'll go to appearance, and you can actually turn the grid lines all the way down in opacity. And what happens is they actually disappear. Now, I know some people don't necessarily prefer this, but I personally do because I don't like the noise. I don't like the craziness. I like to stay calm and relaxed whenever I'm trying to trade cryptos. And so this gives me just a bit of a clearer view of what's happening on the chart that I'm looking at. And so it does kind of, it's usually the first thing that I do whenever I'm trading on Margex. I remove those lines just so I can get a feel of what's going on. Now, what I usually do from there is I start to get some of my drawing going, right? Whether it's maybe I'm doing structural analysis or Fibonacci-based analysis or whatever it may be. So let's kind of go over some of these different tools that you have here. So at the very top, you, of course, just have your general structures. You have trend lines and arrows, extended lines, horizontal lines. You, of course, have parallel channels and much more. And you can see here they're quite simple. You just click one like this. You click on your mouse once, and then you drag it out there. And that'll give you the ability to draw some of your lines and do some of your structural analysis that you may want to do. So say, for example, we might be looking at this thing right here and say, look, we have this trend line here. And then, of course, we have our trend line here. Okay, something like that. Now, you could also go in and go on with your parallel channel and do some pretty similar things, right? And so boom, we might do something like this and see if this is a parallel channel in which we're in. Drag that bad boy down, and then you can kind of see that it is, right? So, of course, you have your general structural lines and your structural analysis lines there. Now, under that, you have a couple things, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Now, oftentimes on the channel, you guys know that we like to use the Fibonacci's, for example, and this is where you would find that. So I personally did favorite it, so it is at the top, but you would look for something, for example, called the Fib retracement. Once you click that bad boy, you can then go in and, for example, example, drawing maybe like a swing low all the way up to a swing high. And as you can see here, it automatically gives you your Fibonacci retracement levels. It's not like you have to automatically do it because they, of course, pull that Fibonacci retracement system from TradingView itself. So you can see here, you have your 0 level, 0.236 level, 382 level, 5 level, 618 level, 786 level, and then you got your Fibonacci extensions as well. Now, a cool part about this, just like we mentioned earlier, is that you can actually go in and adjust the settings. All you have to do is you have to just go in, you click the Fibonacci, you pull this bad boy down, you click the settings icon, and now you can actually do things, right? You can turn off the 382, or maybe also this, and this, if you just want to see the 618 to 786 box. Now, maybe you want to make it stand out a little bit. Then you make it yellow around that. You go to the 1 box, you make it yellow around that, and now you can isolate that 618 to 786 box. And maybe you want to turn off your Fibonacci extensions as well, so you just have the 618 to 786 box. And this is what we do over on the channel, of course. And so what you can see here is there are a lot of custom settings that you can use whenever you are trying to interact with things like your Fibonacci's, or even, let's go forward back over here. You have, again, your Fibonacci's, your trend-based fib extension, shift pitchforks. Of course, you have your fib channels, which is a pretty cool tool that you can actually use here, which also is going to give you some channel-based analysis for your Fibonacci's, which we don't use too often, but it is really cool. And in many other things, right? Fib spirals, fib wedges, like this, as you can see, right? You got the fib wedges, which are pretty cool, and much more. So that is where you're going to find many of those tools. Now, below that, you're going to have your customization tools, right? So you're going to have your brush, your highlighters, you can draw rectangles, circles, eclipses, just a lot of shapes and structures as well. Now, most of the time in my videos, I like to draw, so I like to use the brush. And one cool thing that you can do with the brush here is you can actually go in, you can use the 4px, which is going to make the brush bigger, or you can go to, say, 2px, which will make the brush smaller, and you can actually go in and also change the size of the brush as well. So I would do something like this, and you can go in, or you can change the color. So you're going to go in, boom, now we can make it yellow, make it 4px, and this is how we use it over on the channel to really stand out. So that's a really cool tool as well. Just kind of allows you to do that. And like I mentioned before, you can go in, you can choose rectangles if you want to use that. I mean, you can use paths, which is pretty cool, right? So this is just going to allow you to generally trace the overall structure that you're going in, and you just press escape to get out of it. So this just kind of allows you to highlight the way in which different cryptos move. It's all pretty cool, right? And let's see what else we got here. We have the triangle, of course. So this is pretty cool as well. And this is just going to allow you to get a feel for maybe if we're putting in head and shoulders patterns or symmetrical triangle patterns, things of that nature. Now, moving a little bit further along here, what we can see is we then have our pattern-based tools. So we have maybe our ABCD patterns. We have our Elliott's wave patterns, Elliott impulse wave patterns, right? You can go in and track maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. You can track your Elliott's waves. You can track the different impulse waves. You can do everything structurally or pattern-based here, which is pretty cool. And then they also have time cycles. They have your Elliott triangle wave, which is cool. Head and shoulders patterns, for example. So you can go in left shoulder, head, right shoulder, just a bunch of things that'll make the system in the process of you drawing out all of these different structures or going in to analyze different charts much, much easier. Moving a little bit along here, what we can see is that if you are looking to do some long trades, short trades, you can actually go in and get an idea of what they look like and kind of track them a little bit easier in this section here. So you have, say, long position. If you are going in on this bad boy, you can set your risk, of course, or you can set your potential upside. You can also go in and set your risk so that you can track this very well. So instead of being a little bit more like just kind of not knowing what's actually happening with your trade, you can see whether you're in profit, you can see whether you're in the red based off of course, is where you opened up that position. So this is a cool way that you can track your trade if you don't necessarily want to do it towards the bottom of the screen and be able to, and be able to just see it from a much more clear visual representation perspective. Now, moving a little bit further, what we can also see here is that they do have emojis. Not exactly sure why I would want to use them, but hey, they are pretty cool. Maybe I'm real happy today, or maybe I'm real pissed today. We can just put some emojis on the chart, which is cool. And then lastly, one of the tools that we use a ton is obviously the ruler tool, which just allows you to track the growth and the size of different moves. So in this example, we can see, of course, how much this move has gone. So we can see that it's an 86% move here. And then we, of course, were able to see as well how far this move was in terms of the amount of bars. So that's the overall breakdown of what is happening here. And that's exactly how I use it, right? I don't really use much. I really just use the marker tool. I use the rectangle tool, or sorry, the ruler tool. I use the rectangle tool a ton as well, just to kind of put in these little different ranges and things like that. And then obviously I use the Fibonacci retracement tool the most out of basically anything here. So there's a pretty simple walk down of exactly what you're looking at, these different tools. And then many of the ones down here, you're not really going to use. And then you can just press that trash can right there to get rid of all of the drawings and things off of your chart itself. Now, if you do want to check on your wallet, for example, so say if you're done trading, you're not really looking to do any trading right now, you just want to see what's happening in your wallet, check your assets. One thing that they do have is a wallet extension up here. You would just click that, and it makes it real easy for you to go in and see, okay, how much Bitcoin do I have? How much Tether do I have? Solana, Ethereum, USDC, Avalanche, and much more. And then it also allows you to go in. You can do your staking here, which is really cool. They give you the APYs, very, very stable, calm APYs, nothing too crazy, which I personally do like. So as you can see here, like 4%, 5%, 5%, 5% on these ones. You can go in and deposit, you can activate it, and then you're going to be able to just see the overall rewards, which is cool. It allows you to do it really easy. So if you want to say, you're done with trading for a little while. Say if you want to take a month off, whatever, you can just stake some of those assets and make some gains on them without having to do anything, and then keep it in one place. And that's actually pretty damn cool. Now you can also go in and do your withdrawals and move your transaction history here as well, which all of these will just, they're very basic functions, right? They're just going to allow you to move your crypto out. If you want to withdraw it to a different platform, what you would do, you can see your history here, but if you want to withdraw it, you just click the withdraw button. Boom. Then you go in, you enter in the withdrawal address right there, which makes life easy. You choose the network that you want to make the withdrawal on. So say if we're going to do USDT, I can do to this, just a random wallet, whatever it may be. Then we're going to go in and choose, say, TRC20. We're going to enter in the amount that we wanted to withdraw. And then boom, once we put in a real wallet address, you can continue, withdraw your funds really easy, really simply, no hassle. Absolutely what I love. And as I mentioned before, you don't need a KYC and you don't need a VPN. So this is very fast and it's very easy. And then they have the withdrawal window, usually the next day, in which your funds are withdrew. So I really do personally like that. So overall, that's kind of just a walk down of what's happening in the wallet. Of course, you can also get some referral links if you like. You guys know that we have done a ton of talking about Margex here on the channel. This isn't my primary account. This is one of my secondary accounts. And so you can actually see here that I have done some decent referrals, right? Which is pretty damn cool. So you can check to see how that's going, make referral codes and things like that. And they have a marketing kit and much more. And then lastly, you can see that they do have a conversion tab here, which will allow you to convert it. So say if you do get a referral and then the referral that you bring in, or say the trade that you do, whatever it may be, right? You get Ethereum, you can trade that Ethereum over for some USDT. You just press continue and then bam, converts it just like that. Real easy, real simple. And then the last tab that you can see here is the copy trading tab, but that is a tab that we will talk about in the next, the part 3 of this tutorial, because that's a whole different baby and that's a whole different ballpark. Okay, and so we'll talk about that a little bit there. So overall, that's the general walkthrough of this. Okay, what you can see here is that one thing that I actually didn't show you, that I forgot to show you, is that whenever you do open trades, there will be the ability to see those open positions down here. You'll also be able to see your active orders, position history, and order history, but we will cover that a little bit more in the next part of this series when we actually talk about how to open trades, what the different types of leverage are, the different types of trades are, and much more. So that's the general walkthrough of the platform. Real easy, real simple. I told you guys, right? I mean, how long is this video? 12 minutes now. And I've been able to walk you through every aspect of Margex. And that's why I consistently tell you, many of these platforms try to make things too complicated. They try to make things too hard, really hard to understand. There's too many features and the features aren't explained well. This one is very straightforward, very easy to use, very easy to understand. And that's why I do think that it is one of the best options, especially if you are rather new to the world of leverage trading. And so with that in mind, that is going to be part 1 of the series. Make sure that you stay tuned for part 2 and part 3, because they're going to be absolute bangers. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.